It was a sweltering afternoon in downtown Atlanta when Elena Thompson walked into the lobby of the Grand Horizon Hotel, her heels clicking softly against the marble floor. She had just flown in from New York for a major conference, and all she wanted was a quiet room to rest before her big presentation. But what started as a simple check-in turned into a nightmare when the hotel manager decided to mock her, sneering that if she paid for the worst room, she'd somehow end up with a suite. Minutes later, his words came back to haunt him in ways he never imagined. Elena Thompson arrived at the Grand Horizon Hotel around 3:15 p.m. on that Tuesday. She was dressed in a sharp business suit, carrying a laptop bag and a small suitcase. As a successful tech executive, she traveled often, but this trip was particularly important. She had booked the cheapest available room online because her company was cutting costs, but she expected basic courtesy. The lobby was busy with guests checking in and out, and the front desk had a line of 3 people ahead of her. When it was her turn, Elena approached the counter and presented her reservation confirmation to the clerk, a young woman named Sarah. Sarah smiled politely and began processing the check-in. Everything seemed routine until the hotel manager, Mr. Richard Harlan, overheard the conversation from his office nearby. Harlan was in his mid-50s, with a reputation among staff for being short-tempered and discriminatory. He stepped out, glancing at Elena with a dismissive look. Harlan asked Sarah what room Elena had booked. Sarah replied that it was a standard single, the economy option. Harlan chuckled under his breath and leaned over the counter. He looked Elena up and down, noting her dark skin and natural hair, and said in a voice loud enough for nearby guests to hear, "Oh, paying for the worst room but expecting a suite, huh? That's how it works these days." His tone was laced with sarcasm, implying something derogatory about her expectations or background. Elena paused, taken aback. She had faced subtle racism before, but this was blatant. She calmly asked him to repeat what he said, hoping she had misheard. Harlan doubled down, saying, "You heard me. Pay for the worst, get a suite. But that's not our policy here." He smirked, thinking he was clever, and turned to Sarah, instructing her to proceed with the standard room assignment, no upgrades. The other guests in line shifted uncomfortably. One older couple exchanged glances, and a businessman behind Elena cleared his throat. Elena felt her face flush with anger, but she kept her composure. She was no stranger to such encounters. Growing up in the South, she had learned to navigate them instead of escalating. She pulled out her phone and began recording the interaction discreetly. "Sir, are you denying me service based on my booking?" she asked evenly. Harlan waved her off. "No one's denying anything, just stating facts. If you want better, pay more." He then muttered something about entitled people as he walked back to his office, leaving Sarah to finish the check-in. Sarah apologized quietly, assigning Elena room 204, a basic room on the second floor with no view. Elena took her key card and headed to the elevator, her mind racing. She wasn't just any guest. She was a keynote speaker at the National Tech Innovation Conference being held at the hotel's convention center the next day. Her company, Innovatech Solutions, was a major sponsor, and she had connections that could make or break the hotel's reputation. But Harlan didn't know that yet. As Elena unpacked in her room, she decided not to let it slide. She called her assistant Mia, back in New York, and explained the situation. Mia was outraged and suggested contacting the conference organizers immediately. Elena agreed, but wanted to handle it professionally. She emailed the hotel's corporate office with a detailed account, attaching the audio from her recording. Meanwhile, down in the lobby, Harlan was feeling smug. He bragged to another staff member about putting that woman in her place. Little did he know, the businessman who had been in line behind Elena was actually a reporter for a local news station, covering the conference. The reporter, Jamal Wright, had overheard everything and jotted down notes. He decided to look into it further. By 4 p.m., Elena was in a meeting with conference organizers in one of the hotel's boardrooms. She mentioned the incident casually, not wanting to derail the agenda, but the lead organizer, Dr. Lisa Chun, was appalled. Dr. Chun had worked with Elena before and knew her value. She promised to address it with hotel management. Harlan received a call from his superior at corporate around 4:30 p.m. The email from Elena had reached him quickly, thanks to her status. The superior demanded an explanation. Harlan downplayed it, saying it was a misunderstanding. But then the reporter, Jamal, approached the front desk and asked for an interview about guest treatment policies. Harlan refused, but Jamal persisted, mentioning he had witnessed the exchange. Word spread among the staff. Sarah, the clerk, confided in a colleague that she felt bad for Elena and that Harlan's behavior was out of line. By 5 p.m., Dr. Chen confronted Harlan directly in the lobby. She informed him that Elena was not just a guest, but the star of the conference, and any mistreatment could lead to pulling the event, which was worth hundreds of thousands in revenue. Harlan's face paled. He stammered an apology to Dr. Chen, promising to rectify the situation. He rushed to find Elena's room number and headed upstairs. Knocking on her door, he offered free upgrade to a suite, complimentary meals, and spa services. Elena opened the door, still composed, and asked why the sudden change. Harlan admitted he had been wrong and begged her not to escalate further. But it was too late. Elena had already shared the story with her network on LinkedIn, without naming a hotel yet, but hinting at discrimination in hospitality. The post went viral among tech professionals, garnering hundreds of shares within minutes. Comments poured in, condemning such behavior and sharing similar experiences. Harlan returned to his office, sweating. His phone buzzed with notifications from corporate, demanding he issue a formal apology. The reporter, Jamal, published a quick article online, titled, "Hotel Manager's Racist Remarks Sparks Outrage at Tech Conference." It included quotes from witnesses and linked to Elena's post. By 6 p.m., the hotel's social media accounts were flooded with negative reviews. Conference attendees began checking out early, citing discomfort. The general manager from corporate arrived unannounced, suspending Harlan on the spot pending investigation. Elena, now in her upgraded suite, focused on her presentation. She didn't seek revenge. She wanted accountability. In the end, Harlan lost his job, and the hotel implemented mandatory diversity training. Elena's story became a catalyst for change in the industry, reminding everyone that words have consequences. Elena Thompson's experience at the Grand Horizon Hotel began innocently enough. She had selected the hotel because it was a venue for conference, and booking the economy room was a practical choice given her tight schedule. Upon arrival, she noticed elegant decor, but paid it little mind, focused on getting settled. The interaction with Harlan unfolded precisely as described. His words, "Pay for the worst room, get a suite," were delivered with a mocking grin, implying that Elena was asking for handouts. This phrase, twisted from common customer service lingo, was used to belittle her. Elena's decision to record was instinctive, a habit from years of advocating for equity in her field. The audio captured Harlan's tone perfectly, providing irrefutable evidence. Mia's response was swift. As Elena's right hand, she coordinated with legal advisors, ensuring the complaint was formal. Dr. Chen's involvement escalated things. As a respected figure in tech, her word carried weight. She had booked the entire convention space, and threatening to cancel was no bluff. Jamal Wright's role was pivotal. As a journalist, he saw the story's potential and acted ethically, verifying facts before publishing. The viral post on LinkedIn reached over 10,000 views in hours. Professionals from various backgrounds related to it, amplifying the message. Corporate's response was immediate because the Grand Horizon chain had faced similar complaints before. Harlan's history of biased behavior came to light during the investigation. In the aftermath, Elena delivered a flawless keynote, incorporating a subtle reference to the incident to inspire resilience. The hotel issued a public statement apologizing and committing to reforms. This event highlighted systemic issues in service industries, where discrimination often goes unchecked until confronted. To expand on the details, Elena's flight had been delayed by an hour due to weather, making her arrival more stressful. She chose not to mention this at check-in, keeping professional. Harlan's background included 20 years in hospitality, but reports from former employees suggested a pattern of favoritism towards certain guests. Sarah, the clerk, later testified in the internal review, confirming Harlan's words and her discomfort. The businessman Jamal had his recorder on for conference notes, capturing ambient audio that corroborated Elena's account. Dr. Chen called a quick meeting with other organizers, all agreeing to support Elena. The email to corporate included timestamps and witness names, making it thorough. Harlan's attempted apology was awkward. He stumbled over words, revealing his insincerity. Elena's suite was a presidential one, with a view of the city skyline, a far cry from room 204. The article by Jamal was picked up by national outlets, increasing pressure. Social media backlash included boycotts from influencer networks. The suspension happened in front of staff, humiliating Harlan as he had humiliated Elena. Elena's network rallied, offering support and sharing resources for similar situations. The diversity training was rolled out chain-wide, affecting hundreds of employees. Elena's presentation drew a standing ovation, partly for her poise amid adversity. This story serves as a real-world example of how one person's courage can spark broader change. Delving deeper, Elena's company, Innovatech, specializes in AI solutions for businesses, and she leads a diversity initiative there. The conference was attended by over 500 professionals, many of whom heard about the incident through whispers. Harlan's mutter about entitled people was overheard by multiple people, adding to the evidence. Mia's call to Elena included advice to document everything, which she did meticulously. Dr. Chen's confrontation was calm but firm, leaving Harlan speechless. Jamal's article quoted anonymous staff, painting a picture of a toxic work environment. The viral post led to interviews for Elena, where she emphasized education over punishment. Corporate's investigation uncovered emails from Harlan with biased language. The public statement was posted on the hotel's website and social channels. Reforms included hiring a diversity officer and revising guest interaction protocols. Elena's resilience inspired many, leading to mentorship programs in her name. The event underscored the importance of allyship in combating discrimination. Further details revealed that the lobby camera footage was reviewed, showing Harlan's body language. Sarah received commendation for her apology and honesty during the inquiry. Jamal followed up with series on hospitality inequities. Dr. Chen ensured Elena's comfort for the rest of her stay. The boycott threat subsided after the apology, but the hotel's ratings dropped temporarily. Harlan sought new employment, but faced challenges due to the publicity. Elena's story was shared in workshops on workplace bias. This incident prompted policy changes in other hotels in the chain. Elena's keynote included data on diversity in tech, tying back to her experience. The overall impact was positive, fostering dialogue on respect and equality. To provide more context, Elena had faced similar issues in her career, making this one particularly triggering. Harlan's smugness stemmed from unchecked privilege, as per staff accounts. The recording was shared with permission in training sessions later. Mia's coordination included alerting board members at Innovatech. Dr. Chen's support extended to co-authoring an article with Elena. Jamal's coverage won him recognition for ethical journalism. The LinkedIn post evolved into a thread with updates. Corporate swift action prevented a lawsuit. The training program was developed with input from experts. Elena's suite upgrade included personalized amenities.